The snowstorm had nearly buried the streets when Officer Daniel noticed a small figure standing alone outside the station. A boy, no older than 8, was clutching a tiny puppy to his chest, his face streaked with tears, his clothes soaked from the cold. Daniel rushed toward him. "Hey kid, where are your parents?" he asked gently. The boy looked up, his voice trembling. "Officer, if I give you my dog, will you arrest my stepfather?" The words froze Daniel in place. Behind those tears was something deeper. Fear, pain, and a secret no child should have to carry. For a moment, the world seemed to stop. The wind, the snow, even his heartbeat. What the officer uncovered that night would break his heart and change everything. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious. Where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. Snowflakes drifted lazily beneath the dim street lights as Officer Daniel locked up the station for the night. The town was silent, wrapped in winter's hush until a faint sound caught his ear. A sniffle, then a quiet sob. He turned and froze. A small boy stood at the edge of the parking lot, shivering beneath a thin gray hoodie. In his arms, he clutched a tiny puppy, its fur matted with snow. Daniel approached slowly, lowering his voice. "Hey buddy, are you lost?" The boy didn't answer. His lips trembled as he stared at the glowing sheriff's office sign behind Daniel. Finally he whispered, Can you arrest my stepfather?" Daniel blinked, startled. "Why would I do that?" The boy's eyes filled with tears. "If you do, I'll give you my dog." The words hit Daniel like a punch. He crouched to meet the boy's gaze, seeing the exhaustion, the fear, the kind no child should carry. "You don't have to give me your dog," he said softly. "Just tell me what happened." The boy hugged the puppy tighter, whispering through the cold. "He hurts me," and he said, "Nobody will believe me." Daniel's breath misted in the freezing air. He knew this wasn't just a lost child. This was a cry for rescue. Officer Daniel gently led the boy inside. The warm glow of the sheriff's office. The snow melted from the child's hoodie, leaving small puddles on the floor. The puppy whimpered softly in his arms, curling closer for warmth. Daniel handed the boy a cup of hot cocoa and set a blanket around his shoulders. "You're safe here," he said quietly. The boy didn't speak. His eyes stayed fixed on the puppy as he sipped slowly. When Daniel reached to adjust the blanket, the boy flinched hard, his sleeve riding up just enough to reveal dark bruises along his arm. Daniel froze. "Hey, who did this to you?" he asked gently. The boy swallowed, eyes wide with fear. "Please don't take me away from my dog," he whispered instead. "He's all I have." Daniel's chest tightened. He'd seen fear before, but never this pure, this fragile. He knelt beside the chair, his voice low. "You're not in trouble, son. I promise nobody's going to hurt you." Again. The boy hesitated, then glanced up at him. "He gets angry when I talk back. When I try to protect Mom," his voice cracked. "He says, I deserve it." The puppy whimpered again, pressing its head against the boy's chest. Daniel felt his jaw tighten. He'd heard enough. Whatever was happening in that house, he was going to stop it tonight. Officer Daniel called for Child Protective Services, but something in the boy's trembling voice made him decide he couldn't wait. "Tell me where you live," he said gently. The boy's eyes filled with panic. "Please don't go now," he whispered. "He'll be awake. He'll hurt you too." Daniel placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "You're safe here, and I promise I'm coming back for you." He gave the boy's puppy a soft pat, then grabbed his radio and headed out into the bitter night. Snow crunched under his boots as he approached the address the boy had given him. The house stood in silence, its porch light flickering weakly. Beer cans littered the yard, and the sound of yelling echoed faintly through the cracked front window. Daniel's gut twisted. He knocked firmly. A tall man in a stained undershirt opened the door, eyes bloodshot, reeking of alcohol. "What do you want?" he barked. "Sheriff's Department." Daniel replied calmly. "I'm here to check on your family." The man sneered. "They're fine. Get lost." But from the kitchen, a woman's frightened eyes peeked around the corner. Daniel stepped inside. "Sir, I need you to calm down." The man slammed a bottle against the wall, shouting, "You people don't tell me how to run my house." Before Daniel could reach for his weapon, a low growl filled the doorway. Rex, his canine partner, baring his teeth. The man froze as Daniel moved in, cuffs ready. The nightmare was ending tonight. Back at the station, the boy sat quietly in a small office chair, his puppy curled asleep in his lap. "Officer." Daniel entered, brushing snow from his shoulders, and knelt beside him. "It's over," he said softly. "Your stepfather won't hurt anyone again." The boy didn't respond at first. He just stared at the puppy, his fingers trembling as he stroked its fur. Then his voice cracked. "He always said no one would believe me, that I'd get in trouble if I told." Daniel shook his head gently. "You did the bravest thing a person can do. You told the truth." Tears streamed down the boy's face, but this time they weren't from fear. They were from release. "I was scared he'd hurt Mom," he whispered. "I tried to stop him once, and that's when he couldn't finish." Daniel's hand rested reassuringly on his shoulder. Moments later, the boy's mother entered the room, eyes red, clutching a tissue. She rushed to her son, wrapping her arms tightly around him. "I'm so sorry," she sobbed. Daniel turned away, giving them privacy, his chest heavy with emotion. The boy looked up again, wiping his eyes. "Can I keep my puppy with me in the shelter?" Daniel smiled faintly. "He's family, isn't he? Then he stays with you." For the first time that night the boy smiled. A few days later the snow had stopped, but the cold still lingered in the air. Officer Daniel pulled into the small family shelter where the boy and his mother were now staying. He carried a box of supplies, dog food, blankets, and a few toys. As he stepped inside, laughter echoed down the hall. The boy came running, the puppy bounding happily beside him. "Officer Daniel," he shouted, his eyes shining. "Look, he's eating again." Daniel knelt down, rubbing the dog's head. "He's getting stronger, just like you." The boy giggled, then reached into his pocket. I have something for you. He unfolded a small crumpled note and handed it over. I don't want to give you my dog anymore, he said shyly, but I still want to give you this. Daniel opened the paper. Inside, written in a child's handwriting, were 5 simple words. Thank you for saving us. His throat tightened. He placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. You don't owe me anything, son, he said softly. You saved yourself the moment you spoke up. The boy smiled proudly. Can you visit Hero again soon? Daniel chuckled. Count on it, kid. And, for once, the world felt a little bit lighter. Weeks later, winter began to fade and sunshine returned to the small town. Officer Daniel parked his cruiser in front of a modest house with white curtains fluttering in the windows. He wasn't there on duty this time. He was there because of a handwritten invitation left at the station. The front door burst open before he could knock. The little boy ran out. His puppy, now stronger and full of life, leaping beside him. Officer Daniel, he shouted, grinning from ear to ear. Come, see our new home. Daniel followed him to the porch where the boy proudly held up his dog. I named him Hero, he said, proudly, because he saved me first. Daniel smiled, his eyes softening. I think that name fits both of you. The boy's mother stepped outside, her face peaceful for the first time in months. Thank you, she said quietly. You believed us when no one else did. Snowflakes began to drift again, light and gentle this time. The boy waved as Daniel stepped back toward his car. Hero, barking happily in the yard. Daniel paused, watching the small family framed by the golden light of dusk. His voice broke into a whisper. Sometimes heroes really do come in small sizes because one act of courage can break the chain of fear forever.